What do you think about those classes? The ones that are like really superhero-y or really
It's
anime?
definitely different, right? It's different than the um the D&D I started with, right? Where like it like really was like those characters seemed more like normal people thrust into extraordinary circumstances. Where now it definitely feels like you're already a hero when you
Yeah.
start out. Like the abilities and powers that you have are so much beyond what normal people can do. And then like that's at first level.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So from that you do need like the at least the threat of character death and things like that in the game to make the rewards to make it more rewarding, but also like I don't want it to be like skewed in the favor of you're not going to make it through the session or one bad roll is going to decide your fate for the night.
You're onto something with that because the session that I was just talking about where we like won by just a hair, it was because we did some additional tactics that helped us eke out the win. I
Yeah,
think with games like you mentioned, the OSR ones where one hit and you're dead, if you succeed against overwhelming odds, you don't. To me, I wouldn't feel as heroic. I'd feel like we got lucky because we got a good roll, you know. Whereas a challenge with the new version of D&D, it's like it was challenging. It was an overwhelming challenge, but we succeeded because we worked together as a team and overcame it. It's a slight difference, but it's a big difference in the grand scheme of things in how you're going to feel at the end. Because if you just succeeded because that die didn't kill your character, you didn't roll enough to kill your character, then that still feels like unearned to me. I
yeah,
Something about Lovecraftian horror really appeals to me in so many ways, but I do like other types of horror too. Like now we have the Ravenloft book coming out this
yeah.
month, which I'm super. How excited are you for that one? Do you like Ravenloft at all?
I do. The Domains of Dread box set from AD&D was amazing. Like that was
Really?
something that you could just sit there and read through, and it had all the different domains and the lords of those domains. Super cool. So I'm curious to see what they do with do with the new version. I think it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be less of a source book than people
I get the impression that they're only going to have like a couple of pages for some of the domains. Some are going to take precedence and get like
think.
20 pages, and some are going to get like one page. What was your favorite domain in that box?
No, Lord Soft, and then like his domain was in there, but he wasn't. It was like ruled by like the Werebadger that was his lackey. Because like
The Where Badger ruled it?
yeah, he took over because Lord Soft got kicked out of Ravenloft.
Oh, he
Which,
went back to Dragonlance?
yeah, like
I didn't know that.
oh yeah, so oh well, spoilers, but those books have been out a while. There's a two parts book series, Night of the Black Rose, and I forget what the other one
I
was
read
called.
recently read Night of the Black Rose. It was really good.
Well,
And
there's
then
a
he
book.
meets Strahd there.
There was a book after that one where he gets kicked out of Ravenloft because his torment is kind of like interesting in the sense that like they just keep retelling his story over and over again, but they tell it wrong. Like he's
Oh
got
no,
these
that's crazy.
I think they're banshees that sing the song to him every night, and they sing it wrong, which just infuriates him. And like, and the reason why Ravenloft kicks him out is because he's got absolutely no remorse or regret. Like, no matter what they do, he always does the wrong thing over and over again willingly. And but I think there was also some copyright things that caused him to get
Oh.
sucked back into
As always,
Dragonlance.
business has to ruin it all, right?
Yeah, but
With D&D, it is a little bit harder to do horror properly, but it can certainly be done.
yeah, it's more about the foreshadowing and building up to it.
Yeah,
The horror in D&D is good up until the point where the rubber actually hits the road, and then it's like they're just going to try and kill the thing. Unless you
sure,
can think
and
of
it's fine. I think it's like horror, anyways, is tension and release. Generally, right? There are some types of horror where it just lingers on in the background, or it lingers in your soul for a while, and you can't sleep because you're thinking about it. But most horror that's still pretty good is uh, it comes out and it kind of builds, and then the release, right? So it's fine if in D&D you build the tension in the horror, and then the PCs end up fighting and killing whatever it is. As long as you build it right, tension. So, you know, it's almost like horror movies. Horror movies today, the good ones do that. They build the tension, something like Hereditary, right? And then it just explodes. I don't know. Have you seen Hereditary?
I have not. Actually,
that movie, it's insane.
My wife doesn't like horror, so I haven't.
Don't
over
show
the
her that
past
one.
20 years, I've not watched much horror.
She will not forgive you. You'll have a divorce for sure
Yeah.
if you show her that movie. But it's super good the way that they do that, and versus like most modern horror today, where it's not really horror, it's just startling you. And for people, that is the jump scares, right? Just startle you. They don't scare you. You don't think about it after or before. There's a quiet room, everyone's just chatting, and then a cat jumps out and you're startled. There was no buildup and there's no release. So that's why that doesn't work. And so with D&D, when people try to do horror, they do the jump scare. Cthulhu jumps out, and then you're supposed to be scared of Cthulhu jumping out, you know?
But they're like, I draw my sword.
I attack it. Yeah. Or the lady standing there, and then all of a sudden she turns ghostly and jumps at you. I swing my sword. I roll initiative. You know, like that's just the equivalent of the jump scare. It's not. There's no buildup. That's so important, you know. So I think you nailed it when you said the buildup is the most important.